Hello, 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 everyone. It is Teresa from Teresa's Pot for Art, where I love sharing art from my heart and helping you create a little joy in your life through some fun, simple, and quick art projects. Welcome to How to Boo in June, a YouTube collaboration. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. I'm going to show you how we turn this tote bag into this Halloween tote bag. This tracer and supply list is in the description below, as well as the entire playlist. So if you get a chance, I hope you can watch everyone and subscribe to everyone's channels in this collaboration. Thanks. Let's get started. I'm going to turn you guys around. Okay, I have out my tote bag here and a piece of cardboard. I'm going to place the cardboard in the tote bag so my paint doesn't bleed through to the other side. You can use cardboard, aluminum foil, plastic wrap, wax paper, anything you have on hand so that your paint will not bleed through your canvas tote. And then if you want, you can get some binding clips or clothespins and make sure that your cardboard or whatever you put in between, wax paper, parchment paper, doesn't move. Okay? All right. You can get the tracer and the supply list for this in the link below. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. When we paint on canvas, we want what's called textile medium. We add that to our paint. It helps the paint move on the material. So I put out my blue paint. I'm just going to take a few drops and I'm going to add it into my blue paint. Then I'm going to put out some white paint and I'm going to do the same thing, except you won't be able to see it in the white because it's white. Although it doesn't change the color of the paint, it does look white when you put it in. So I'm just going to now take my brush and I'm just going to stir up the white a little bit and get my textile medium mixed in. I'm just going to wipe off my brush and I'm going to come to my canvas and I'm going to start painting a circle. Okay, I'm going to get some more white, come to my canvas and start painting a circle. Once I have a good mix of white going on, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to mix into my blue. Make sure my textile medium is mixed into my blue really well. Get some blue on my brush and I'm going to start adding to my circle. So I'm going to keep picking up white and a little bit of blue and making my circle. And I'm going to get bigger and bigger as I go along. Now, because this is a tote bag, it's not going to have the same effect as we would have on a firm canvas or a stretched canvas, but that's okay because that's the point of painting on a tote bag or a t-shirt or a denim jacket. It's supposed to look different. If it didn't look different, we would just paint everything on canvas. And I'm just going to keep expanding on my circle with a mixture of the blue and the white paint as I go around. I'm going to make it go pretty far out. Whichever side I hit first, that's going to be the size of my circle. So as I'm making this circle, if I get to the top or the bottom or the left or the right, that's where I'm going to end my circle. And I continually pick up more paint, blue and white, as I go around. Now, if you wanted to, you can make this as dark as you want. I like how it looks on the canvas and that it's a little bit, I don't know, I guess a little bit more abstract than it would be if you were painting on something solid. Got a little blue on there. I'm not going to worry about it, but you guys be careful. Now, if you just wanted to come right to the canvas with the design and not worry about the background, that is totally up to you. Again, this is your art. I don't really ever get hung up in the colors or how you take my instructions and adapt it to fit your own artwork. I can't really tell. Oh, I guess when I look up in the camera, because I'm so close to this, I have to look up into the camera to make sure that I'm staying circular. Okay, so I could put out more paint, but I think I'm going to leave it be. All right, so there's my center. Let me move this up for you a little bit, and I'm going to put out a little bit of black and some white. And again, I need to add some textile medium to both of my colors here. I'm going to wash my brush. And give it a good dry. This time I'm going to use the back of my brush to mix my paint. This way I can go right from one to the other just by wiping it off. There we go. There we go. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing I did. I'm going to load my brush with white. Then I'm going to pick up some black. And I'm going to give it a mix. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start adding in my buildings. I'm just using this 1-inch brush. And I'm going to make different heights of rectangles and different widths of rectangles. I'm going to go across the bottom of my tote bag here. Ooh. I keep mixing my gray because we want different values of our gray, some darker, some lighter. We want some of our buildings taller, some shorter. And I'm just going to keep going along on the bottom here, mixing my paint, picking up the white, adding in some dark black, making my grays different colors. And I'm just going to add the skyline down here. Got a little divot in my cardboard right there. Ooh. You could do this design on a tote bag. You can do it on a pillowcase. You can do it on canvas. But I thought it would be fun because we can turn this into a trick-or-treat bag. Does anybody even trick-or-treat anymore? I don't even know. And these are just different shaped rectangles. And I'm just going to go across the bottom of my circle. Give me a little more white. Need a little bit more textile medium. Pick up some of the black. And that's about as far wide as I'm going to go. Okay. And come back, add another coat to these while we let everything else dry. I tend to move around a lot. If you wanted to get a dryer and work on one section at a time and dry your artwork as you go, that's totally up to you. I will jump around and do one section, and then I'll move over and do a different section. This way, I can keep going. But if you want to work by doing one section at a time and drying it, you totally can. Okay, so I think I have all my buildings in, and I think that's good. We're going to leave that like that. Okay? I'm going to get my tracer. My tracer has some buildings on the bottom, but we don't have to worry about that. I'm going to grab my dryer and give this a little dry. So let me get my tracing paper down. I'm going to line up my cat as best I can. The handles are the middle, so that's what I'm going to use. You want your not your tracing paper, your graphite paper, shiny side down. And I'm using a little bit of pressure on my tracer to get the design to transfer to my tote. My little black cat. I'll do the whiskers later. And I think that worked. Yes, I can see it. Okay. So let's put that aside. And the first thing I'm going to do, wash my brush. And I'm going to start painting in my moon. Okay. I'm going to come over to my white paint. And I'm going to outline it. And paint in the base coat of my moon. If your tote is not dry yet, or you need to wait patiently for your tote to dry, that is okay. I don't mind some of my blue coming a little bit through. Your moon sometimes will look a little blue in the sky. And I'm in here, I'm going to need more white again. And I'm just filling in my entire moon with white paint. Because I've already painted in the blue, and this white is getting layered onto the blue, I don't necessarily have to add any textile medium to it. I could if I wanted to, but I don't have to. Okay. All right. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add my cap. I'm going to turn it upside down so I can see it a little better. I'm going to get my black paint and I'm going to outline it. So here is our hat. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can. And then our kitty's head. And then our kitty's body. Our kitty's haunches. And then the tail. Okay, now I'm just going to fill the entire thing in. Again, I'm using the black paint. It has the textile medium in it, but since I'm painting over the blue, I would not need to add any extra textile medium to this paint at this point. And I can even use a bigger brush if I wanted to, but I'm just going to stick with this brush because it's already in the black paint and it's good. And I'm just going to continue to fill in my entire black cat. Don't forget to subscribe to the rest of the incredible artists in this Boo in June YouTube Halloween collab and watch the entire playlist. You will find the link to the playlist in my description below, as well as the free tracer and supply list for this painting. I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to let that dry. And we're going to come back down here to our buildings again. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of white on my brush. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to start putting in some windows. Now this is very abstract down here. These windows do not have to be perfect. I'm just picking up some white paint on the tip of my brush and I'm just coming in here and I'm adding in, let me fix my brush, little rectangles of windows for our buildings. I could switch brushes, or I can, the less pressure I use on my brush, the narrower or smaller my rectangles will be for my windows. Okay. This one can get some big windows because it's a bigger building. And I'm just picking up some white paint. I'm using my brush. Very abstract, very in the distance. Okay. And you can put as many windows as you want. They do not have to be perfect. That's a little noisy, my plate, isn't it? More white paint again. And I'm just going to make these narrow. So a little bit, I'm using the same brush, but I'm only pulling it a little bit. More white. And there we go. So now I've filled in all of my windows. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Actually, I shouldn't wash my brush because I want to come back up here and make this a little whiter down here for my moon. There we go. And this is such a cute bag. You don't always have to paint on mixed media paper or canvas. Nope. Pretty much paint on anything you want. The only trick to this is to use the textile medium for your first coat of paint. It helps the paint move a little bit on the canvas. So while we're waiting for all that to dry, I'm going to put out a little bit of yellow paint and a little bit of orange paint. I'm going to grab the back of my brush and I'm going to put just a few clusters of yellow and orange dots up into my sky. So now, over here where I spilt blue, I can cover these blue dots with the orange paint. I'm going to go into yellow. I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow. It's almost making it look like a starry sky. This adds a little bit of detail and interest to your painting. You know, I always say I feel like my acrylic painting and my creativity is like pizza. The surface, in this case, is the tote bag. That would be the crust. The sauce would be when we did the background with our big blue circle. Then we started adding in the cheese, which was our main elements, the building and the moon and the cat. And now we're adding in a touch of some detail, and that would be our toppings. Okay. So I'm going to go back to a smaller brush now. Move this up again. I'm going to go into my yellow. And in some of the windows, I'm going to put some yellow. I'm just going to do it random. This is making it look like some lights are on and some aren't. Okay? You can do every window if you want, or you can do it random. Totally up to you. I could do more, I could do less. It's all good. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a little bit of black to each window. I'm going to add black to every window, and I'm also going to put it on every window and the opposite side of where I put the yellow. So if it has yellow, it's going on the other side. If it doesn't have yellow, it's just going where it's going. And again, very abstract. I'm just barely touching my brush to the surface, to my canvas tote. My white was a little wet. That's okay. Some of these larger windows, I'm going to put some black to the bottom as well. The narrow ones I'm going to leave. The ones that are a little wider, oops, I'm going to put some to the bottom as well. Nothing perfect about this. know you're probably thinking, I'm zooming. How do I keep up? The less you think about this, the better. I'll tell you when it's time to concentrate and be neat. This is not it. Let me fix my brush. And now I'm kind of making the letter L on the bigger windows where I went on the bottom. There we go. So now we have our buildings done. Well, with our windows and our lighting. And now I'm going to be neat. So now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to start outlining. In order to outline, I want to rest my hand or my pinky. I want my brush to be neat, so I'm going to twirl it between my thumb and my forefinger. I'm going to do a little bit at a time. Every time I come back up, I twirl it. And I'm just going to outline my buildings. Twirl, twirl, twirl. Now, if you wanted to, you could wait until this was completely dry. And you could do this part with a paint pen. That is totally up to you. Every time I come back to my plate, I twirl my brush so I can fix the fibers of my brush. Okay, there we go. I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to go back to the 1/4 inch flat brush that I had earlier. I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow. I'm going to wipe it off. Pick up yellow, wipe it off. Pick up yellow, wipe it off. And I'm just adding a little bit of yellow to brighten up my moon. Okay? So I load it, then I wipe it off, and I come back up to my moon. Okay? And then the last thing I'm going to do is going to go back to my liner brush. Turn my dots down. I'm going to roll it now with my white paint. And I'm going to add a little bit of highlight to my cat. So we're going to add some to the haunches, over here to the belly, over here to the face, to the hat, and then to the tail. Okay. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to add a little bit of white over some of the black lines. The top, and then maybe some of the sides that aren't behind or next to the other buildings. Just a little bit of highlight up top and along some of the sides. Okay. Oh, I put my thumb in there. Oopsie, be careful. And then last but not least, I need a little bit more black. I'm going to roll my brush in the black. And I'm going to give 1, 2, 3 whiskers. And then over here, 1, 2, 3 whiskers on the back of my cat. And since I put my finger up in here, I'm going to add 3 more dots. If you wanted to, you can personalize this with a name. I think that's good. Totally up to you. And there we have it. So this is the tracer. I have the supply list for you as well. And here is our cute little tote bag for Halloween. Let me turn you guys around and show you. So you want this to completely dry, and then you're ready for Halloween. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to watch the rest of the playlist and subscribe to all the rest of these talented creatives in this How to Boo in June YouTube collaboration. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time.